Hi, my name is S. Chacon, and I'm going to be presenting my final project, the TP&me, a tale of triumph and turmoil. So the TP&me, it all started with the idea. Don't you hate when you've used the bathroom and you realize you're out of toilet paper? Just imagine you're this old man right here, alright, and he has just used the bathroom and now he's getting ready to use the toilet paper. He looks over, and oh no, what is that? That's right, he's out of toilet paper. In his flurry of excitement, he didn't realize that he so mistakenly didn't have any. So what do you do in this situation? Well, you cry. That's what you do. But you wouldn't cry if you had some sort of invention to basically save you from being in the situation in the first place. So I started brainstorming. So I was brainstorming. I was thinking of some sort of device that would basically monitor your toilet paper and also monitor if someone's in the room. And basically, if you're low on toilet paper and someone enters the room to use the bathroom, it will alert you before you go to replace your toilet paper so that you don't get put in this situation. So, I had a couple design criterias that I felt like I had to meet. First was ease of installation. This is going to be hopefully consumed by many different types of people. Old people, young people, middle people, if you will. And I knew that it would have to be easy to install so that really anyone could do so. It had to be compact. This is going to be going to someone's bathroom, and no one wants something that's just gigantic and clunky around your toilet space. It has to be waterproof. It's in the bathroom. You don't want anything to short circuit. Had to have a nice clean design. Again, bathroom. No one wants anything that looks gross, ugly, clunky. Had to be sleek, cute. Accurate measurements. If you're going to buy a product simply to monitor your toilet paper consumption, then it better be accurate. Product cost. Again, not everyone necessarily needs this, but it would help. But no one's going to buy it if it's super expensive, so had to be cheap. Couldn't be super complicated. Adjustable design. Again, to fit anyone's bathroom, anyone's toilet paper holder measurements. And it had to be automatic. We didn't want too much user error in this. So as you can see, I have these two brainstorm designs, early designs that I had here. One that fit over the toilet paper handle, looking at it from the side, and one that was placed on top. After doing some surveying, I basically came to the conclusion that the second one was better. For a few reasons. I mean, mainly it fit more of the design criteria, but it had more accurate measurements. Obviously, looking at it from the top allowed you to see exactly how much toilet paper was there, rather than looking at it from the side, which would basically only tell you when you're low. So this is the first design. So I ran with this first idea, and I started designing it in Inventor. And I came up with this design. Basically the same thing, just with a little bit more housing for the electronics. But this guy stuck right above your toilet paper with a sonar on the bottom looking down on top of it. It had a buzzer and some red lights up in the top with a motion sensor as well. Motion sensor would detect a person, yada yada. We'll go over all the electronics later, but basically this is what the first design looked like. But there were some pros and cons. Basically the cons were that it wasn't safe from user error completely because of the fact that the installation was sort of not very precise. You could really put it anywhere, and there wasn't really code to adjust for that. It wasn't the best design in my opinion. And also it was very buggy. I don't know why, but it just was. So I just wanted to really simplify the whole thing, but also make it a little bit more sleek. So, after a few months, I came up with the final design. As you can see, basically I took inspiration from the first one, but I added the toilet paper holder to the bottom of it. I also cleaned up a lot of the electronics, and I think overall I just made the whole appeal of the aesthetic a little bit nicer. This seems a little bit more like something someone could potentially have. Obviously negate the material colors because that was the plastic at the time, but I feel like this design has some more potential. So, what is this design composed of? Well, we have two 3D printed components, if you will. We have the main hole and the toilet paper holder. Now, I could have printed this as one whole thing, but I decided not to, really I was forced not to because of the size of our 3D printer. But the main hole is where the electronics are housed and basically where you mount your TP&me to your wall. It has these 3 holes on the bottom to allow for the TP paper holder to attach. So the toilet paper holder has 3 prongs on the back, which will slide into those, and it also has the space for toilet paper to be attached to it. Now back to the hole at the top. This is an early inventor file, so we're missing the hole at the front for the motion sensor, but there is the hole as you saw in the previous final design picture. But all the electronics is back there, and we'll get to the electronics next. So here are the electronics I used. I switched from an Arduino Uno down to Arduino Nano for the final, just because it was smaller and a little less chaotic inside all the electronics. I had a Bluetooth module, which I added for complexity because I was going to make an app, and I was on my way there. Sadly, was not able to finish due to the events that took place. I had a motion sensor that was in the front hole that was used to detect if a person has entered the room. Then we had the sonar. The sonar was pointing down at the toilet paper, which was now in a fixed position underneath the sonar to reduce user error. And that was constantly monitoring the distance to see how much toilet paper there was. We had a piezo buzzer, which was used to alert if the toilet paper was low and a person had just walked in, for those who maybe don't see the lights or maybe are blind, who knows. And then we had red, yellow, and green LEDs, which were used to also alert the user in a different way other than the buzzer. And the different colors alerted how much toilet paper you had left. So green meaning you're good to go, yellow meaning after this round switch out, and red meaning don't use the restroom, go get toilet paper first. Then finally we had the code in the app. This is a little code overview, very simple pseudo code, and it really overall, I've been explaining this process throughout this presentation, but one more time, constantly measuring toilet paper measurements. If a person walks in, the motion sensor picks them up. It asks, are we good in toilet paper? If the sonar says no, a buzzer will sound off and red lights will flicker. If the toilet paper or if the sonar says you're good, then the corresponding light will go off and no buzzer. Just use the restroom. We also have the app. So during all this time, the sonar is sending those measurements through the Bluetooth module to the receiver. And through the app, you could see exactly the measurement of your toilet paper, which would be through a little formula that would tell you basically how much toilet paper you have left in a percentage. Here's a quick picture of the app. Again, unfinished, but you could sort of see the aesthetic and where we were going. I was able to receive the toilet paper measurements, but I wasn't really able to make it into a functioning app. So clicking on the live TP button, you could see a measurement, but it just sadly wasn't complete. So reflection, just a few questions. How well did you accomplish your objectives? I thought that I did good. I thought I finished pretty fast, and I added some complexity. What would I do differently with my design solution? I am not really sure. I mean, sadly, I wasn't able to finish, so I wasn't able to look at it from a whole perspective. But, I mean, obviously, I would make an app. And really, that's it. I feel like I had a fairly good solution. Obviously, there's some things that could have been changed, but I just can't really pinpoint it now since I wasn't able to completely finish. The results fulfill the problem statement. I would say so. I don't think anyone that owned this would ever not realize that they were out of toilet paper when a buzzer is sounding in their ears when they walk into the room with low toilet paper. And what I've learned from this, I learned a lot about designing, because my original design, my first design, had a lot of electronics problems. I had to fit a lot of things in there that I didn't realize. I learned a lot also about electronics and Bluetooth specifically. I've never used Bluetooth before until now, and I was able to send and receive signals through it. And I also learned a little bit about just designing in terms of aesthetics. I had to think about what people wanted in their rooms, what people would enjoy to look at. So of all these things, I would say it was a success. The end.